Imagine a world bathed in the golden light of a sun that has seen a million years pass since that time. Imagine a world bathed in the golden light of a sun that has seen a million years pass since that time. This is not the world we know today, with its bustling cities and sprawling farmlands. This is a world untamed, a vast and wild stage where the story of humanity was just beginning. Great plains stretched to horizons, broken only by jagged mountains or the deep green of ancient forests. Herds of enormous beasts far larger than any we see now roamed these lands. Giant deer with immense antlers, mammoths with tusks that curled towards the sky, and powerful bison thundered across the grasslands. It was a place of breathtaking beauty, but also one of constant underlying peril, lurking just out of sight. For the small bands of early humans, our distant ancestors, every single day was a monumental challenge. They were not the masters of this world, far from it. They were a small part of a grand and often dangerous natural tapestry. Deep within every living creature there is an ancient unspoken language. It is a set of instructions written not in words but in the very fiber of their being. We call this survival instinct. It is the force that tells a fawn to freeze when danger is near, a bird to build its nest high in a tree, a spider to spin its intricate web. For early humans, these instincts were their most fundamental and reliable guides in a world without maps or rulebooks. This internal compass was a powerful inheritance, passed down through countless generations, whispering the secrets of survival long before language could articulate them. It was the first and most important line of defense for their young. Think of a mother's immediate, unthinking reaction to a child's cry. That is instinct. It is a powerful, primal urge to protect, to comfort, to shield the young from harm. The world of our ancient ancestors was filled with an array of formidable adversaries, each posing a unique and deadly threat to the young. At the forefront were the predators. These were not the creatures we might see in a zoo today. The saber-toothed cat with canines like daggers was a master of the ambush, capable of taking down prey much larger than itself. Giant hyenas with bone-crushing jaws roamed in packs, and enormous cave bears could claim any shelter as their own. For a small, slow-moving human child, these animals represented a constant and terrifying danger, a shadow that stalked the edges of every camp. Beyond the threat of tooth and claw, the very elements themselves were a relentless foe. A million years ago, the climate could be harsh and unforgiving. Sudden violent thunderstorms could erupt with little warning. Without sturdy, permanent housing, a small child was terribly exposed to the cold. Faced with such a daunting array of threats, our early ancestors discovered their greatest weapon: each other. A single human was vulnerable, but a group was a force to be reckoned with. Living together in small, tight-knit bands or clans was not simply a social preference, it was the most effective survival strategy ever devised. This principle of cooperation was the cornerstone of human society and the primary method for protecting their young. More eyes meant a better lookout for predators. More hands meant that the tasks of gathering food, tending the fire, watching the children could be shared amongst the group. This idea of a shared watch was honestly pretty revolutionary. While some members of the group were out hunting foraging, others would remain behind at the camp. This home guard formed a dedicated circle of protection around the children. Instinct and teamwork were powerful tools, but the human mind and the ability to innovate added a crucial new layer of protection for the young. Our ancestors were not passive victims of their environment, they were active problem solvers. Their clever hands began to shape the world around them to create safer spaces for their families. One of the earliest and most important inventions was the simple tool. A sharpened stone, held firmly in the hand, could be used for a multitude of tasks. It could butcher an animal, providing more food for the children, and it could serve as a rudimentary weapon to fend off a predator. The control of fire was perhaps the single most important technological leap. A crackling fire gave warmth on a cold night, and a formidable barrier against the dangers of the dark. A well-tended fire at a cave mouth or camp center created a circle of light and safety. It kept great beasts at bay so families and children could sleep more securely. Fire also allowed them to cook food, killing parasites and making nutrients easier to digest. Shelter was another critical innovation. Natural shelters like caves, rock overhangs were prized but not always available. It may seem that our modern world of steel and glass is a universe away from the ancient savannas of our ancestors. We have traded caves for climate-controlled houses, We have traded sharpened stones for smartphones. Yet if we look closely, the echo of that ancient primal need to protect our children resonates powerfully in everything we do today. The fundamental instincts that guided a human family a million years ago have not vanished. They have simply adapted, taking on new forms to suit our new environment. The world has changed, but the core of what it means to be a parent and a community has remained remarkably constant. Consider the modern parent, anxiously watching their child on a playground, that constant scanning for danger, the quick reaction to a stumble, the immediate comfort after a fall, the same instinct that watched for saber-toothed cats at the edge of the camp. We no longer fear giant hyenas, but we have new predators. The dangers of traffic, the dangers of strangers, unseen hazards in the home, child-proof locks on our cabinets, safety gates at the top of our stairs, car seats that cradle our children, modern equivalents of keeping the fire lit at the mouth of the cave. They are our new tools for creating a circle of safety. The long and challenging story of human survival is, at its heart, a story of caring for our children. It was this singular focus, this unwavering commitment to the next generation, that forged us into the species we are today. The immense pressures of that ancient world demanded solutions. In finding ways to keep their children safe from predators, our ancestors developed courage. Our ancestors developed cooperation. In shielding their young from the cold, they mastered fire. They learned to build homes. In ensuring their children did not go hungry, they honed their skills as hunters and gatherers. This intense, prolonged period of child-rearing had a profound effect on our evolution. Human children are dependent on their parents for far longer than the young of almost any other species. This extended childhood, a time of great vulnerability, was also a period of immense opportunity. It was during these formative years that children could learn the complex skills needed to survive. How to make tools, how to track animals, how to find medicinal plants. Every act of protection was an investment in the future. The group that worked together to fend off a predator was not just saving a life, they were reinforcing the bonds of community that would enable them to overcome even greater challenges ahead. This cycle of care, learning and innovation, driven by the primal need to protect the young, became the engine of human progress.